We're going to look at solving this polynomial inequality. 3x times the quantity 2 minus x times the quantity x minus 4 squared is greater than or equal to 0. And solving this means finding all the values of x that will make the inequality true. We're going to start by finding the values of x that will make this expression on the left equal to 0. And it'll be equal to 0 when any one of its three factors is equal to 0. So when 3x equals 0, or when 2 minus x equals 0, or when the quantity x minus 4 squared equals 0. 3 minus x is 0 when x equals 0, 2 minus x is 0 when x is 2, and x minus 4 quantity squared is 0 when x equals 4. So we've got the values of x that make the expression on the left equal to 0. Now we need to find the x values that will make that expression greater than 0. Or, in other words, make that expression positive. So the question we need to answer is, when will the product of these three factors that make up the left side of the equation be positive? Our three factors, again, 3x, 2 minus x, x minus 4 squared, and their product is what we're interested in having be positive. I'm going to start by drawing a number line and marking on the number line the values of x that make the left-hand side of our inequality equal to 0. And those three values allow us to divide up our number line into a number of intervals. And we're going to look at the sign of each factor on each interval. So we're going to start by looking at the sign of 3x on this interval where x is less than 0. If x is less than 0, then 3x is also less than 0, or negative. If x is greater than 0, then 3x is also greater than 0, or positive. Okay, next factor, 2 minus x. 2 minus x, if x is less than 0, let's see, that's positive. If you're not sure why, choose a number that's less than 0, such as x equals negative 1. Plug it in to 2 minus x. 2 minus negative 1 gives us 3, which is a positive number. In this next interval, where x is between 0 and 2, say x equals 1, plug that into 2 minus x. 2 minus 1 equals 1, which is a positive number. And then we're up on this next interval. Once x is bigger than 2, x is 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, you subtract a bigger number like that from 2, we're going to get a negative number. So 2 minus x is negative when x is bigger than 2. Finally, we've got the factor x minus 4 quantity squared. Well, since that's squared, it's always going to be positive, except in that one case where it's 0 when x equals 4. Once we have the signs of all of the factors determined, we can figure out the sign of the product. When we multiply a negative number times a positive number times a positive number, we're going to get a negative number. When we multiply a positive number times a positive number times a positive number, we're going to get a positive number. When we multiply a positive by a negative by a positive, which is what we're doing in each of these last two intervals, we're going to get a negative number. And remember that in between here, when x equals 0, when x equals 2, or when x equals 4, those are all the values where our expression on the left is equal to 0. So now we can answer the question that we were originally asked. Find when that expression on the left is greater than or equal to 0. Well, it's going to be greater than 0 right here where it's positive, and equal to 0 at the endpoints there, and also when x equals 4. So we could graph this set of solutions on our number line. The expression on the left is equal to 0 when x is 0, when x is 2, or when x is 4, and it's greater than 0 for all x values in between 0 and 2. If if we want to write that solution in interval notation, we would write from 0 up to 2, including the endpoints, and then we also have to include the value x equals 4. We're done.